Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to episode 105 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. Today I'm joined by Dave Munson, founder and CEO of Saddleback Leather, a manufacturer and retailer of leather goods, including bags, briefcases, luggage, and more. We're going to be discussing how the Saddleback Leather brand got its start, where the company's at today, and where it's headed in the future. Thanks for joining me today, Dave.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
So let's first start kind of just at the beginning. Can you tell the story of how you kind of got Saddleback Leather started?
Yeah, it's your typical story. Moved down to Mexico to be a volunteer English teacher. And while I was teaching, I needed to have a bag to carry my books. So I thought, what would Indiana Jones carry? so I looked around, couldn't find one, and nice leather bag. So I found a guy making bags, and I said, hey, could you make this for me? And I sketched it out, the one that I had floating around in my head. And so he made it, and everywhere I went, people tapped me on the shoulder. Oh, where can I get a bag like that? Where'd you find that bag? Oh, that's gorgeous. So cool. And when I got back to Portland after the year, man, people just went nuts. So I thought, hey, maybe there's a business here. So moved back down to Mexico, ended up selling real estate for a couple of years, had a federale sent to kill me for something. And then I ended up living in Juarez, Mexico with my black lab, slept on the floor in a $100 a month apartment for 3 years. No hot water. It was pretty humble, but I only paid $100 a month. So with all that money I saved, I would deposit it into the bank account of this father and son way further south. They'd send them up on the bus, 3 or 4 bags. I'd go to the bus station, take them to El Paso, and I would sell them on eBay at a friend's office in the evenings. And I did that for 3 years, and finally met my wife on MySpace. And I was in Panama, and I was checking my eBay auctions, and the bags were going for like $710. And then I looked over at MySpace, and there was this really pretty girl. She said, "Hey, where's Multnomah Bible College?" And so I was like, "Oh, she's trying to pick me up." so I flew to San Antonio and met her, got married 5 months later, and we started our own factory in Mexico, and the business just kept on growing.
Well, I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if there are a couple things that stood out to me there, but the first is the fact that you said that a federale was sent to kill you. Are you able to expand on that at all, or is that?
Well, that was in a land deal. I was having bags made while I was trying to make money in Mexico, which was selling real estate and around this golf course, and it's kind of a long story. But we ended up becoming friends. He was doing cocaine, but he knew my dog. It's kind of a long story. The landowner didn't want to pay me the giant commission I was about ready to get. And so he was going to have someone kill me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's crazy. And the other thing that stood out to me is you kind of drew this sketch of the bag that you had in your mind. Did you have any experience around product design, or is this just or what was kind of your background when you went down there? You mentioned education. You were going down there to teach English. Did you have an education background? Or, kind of where were you at in your life when you went down to Mexico for the first time?
Yeah, so I had been a youth pastor for a long time. I had a degree in theology and a minor in Greek. I got a D- in accounting. That was, and that's only because I was complimenting the teacher after chapter 4 because I couldn't get it. So no, I had no business background. I just wanted a bag to carry my books. Turns out, in the past, I had designed a rack for my old Toyota Land Cruiser, and I designed the seats, and I had designed I had a t-shirt company designing t-shirts, and I had all these little things just designing things, and it all kind of made sense after people started complimenting my design.
Mm-hmm. So we're at the point you've kind of gone over the sort of the humble beginnings of the brand of Saddleback Leather. What has been the strategy for growing it? Well, maybe you can put a little bit of a timeline on this too. When it got started, and where you're at now, and sort of the growth strategy that you've put in place.
Yeah, so I started in 2000 and started selling in 2003. I had my first bag made in 1999. So started selling regularly on eBay in 2003, and that's when I had moved to Juarez, and we're having bags sent up. What I did right away is I thought, this is going to be hard to sell bags unless people know me. And I had read a book once that if they like you, they'll buy from you. And so I thought, well, let me get some videos out there. So I started doing these videos. And I had this crocodile doing tug of war with me with my briefcase in Australia, and I had shark diving in Bora Bora with my briefcase. We stuffed it full of fish guts and stuff. It was pretty awesome. and just started doing videos, showing who I was. And when you do that, people begin to trust you. And whether it's they're an executive of a banking industry, or they are an engineer or an architect, if people see your face and they interact with you, as long as you're a nice guy, then they'll trust you. If you're an untrustworthy jerk, they'll pick that up too. So like, hide, don't get on video if you're like that. But if you're a genuine, nice guy and trustworthy, then get yourself on video. And so anyway, I just did video after video after video after video, and I was no good at first, and it got better and trial and error, but I just kept plugging away, and people began to trust me. And so so much of business is about trust.
That's a good segue into my next question, Dave, is just, and this can be from a personal standpoint, this question, or also maybe you can take a look at it more from the organizational side. But why do you believe Saddleback Leather has kind of been a successful venture for you? I mean, obviously, I would imagine, you stand by the product, and the quality of the products probably speaks for itself. But, take a look at it from both perspectives, both from your personal standpoint, and then kind of organizationally, why you believe the company has been a success.
Well, there are several reasons. I've got a theological reason, if you'd like to hear that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I've, I see this as if it's God's business, and how would he do it? And he probably wouldn't put a fish on the website, and he would probably be real generous, and he would probably be kind to people and helpful, and he would probably do really high quality. So I figured, okay, if that's the way he'd do business, it'd probably be successful. So let me try that. And so one of the things I've done with our employees in the business, when they first come on, I say, listen, a lot of them, I'll say, I hope you quit one day, because you started a business and you are too busy to keep going. And so, if you have something, let me know, and I'll even promote you at Christmas time, and I'll give you some ideas and thoughts. And so we've had several people grow their businesses to the point where they can't keep doing work for me. So, but I'd rather them share with me rather than hide it and all of a sudden one day kind of quit. You know what I mean? I'd rather know in advance. And so we help spawn businesses, and we haven't done a whole lot of them, a few, but we love that. I love that. So I want to help. I had lunch with Zig Ziglar one time, and he said to me, listen, I said, if all of your media were to be erased off the whole face of the globe, all your books and DVDs and tapes and all that stuff, and all of it, and you could leave us with one book, what would you write about? And he said, help everyone around you to be as successful as they possibly can. And then you'll have everything you ever dreamed or wanted. And then he said, court your spouse as if you're trying to win her over. And he said, because success starts at home. And then he said, encourage people. Really try to encourage people to move forward. So I just took that advice, and it seems like it's working.
Yeah, and finding the right people that are willing to be part of a company like that and culture like that, I guess, is critical as well.
Well, a big part of it is vision. So I've shared with people, here's what I see us doing. Here's how I see us changing the way things are done. And we're going to do it through educating. And so you want to be a part because here's where it's going. And we've had some really successful people jump on board and even take pay cuts because they go, I want to be a part of that right there. And so the purpose, and if you can help people see the purpose, they'll jump all over it.
So Saddleback Leather, it operates in a really crowded space, as I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. So what differentiates it from its competitors?
Just excessive quality. So, and I educate people on excessive quality. And, I tell people you don't need to have, platinum wiring in your house, even though platinum conducts better than copper does. Copper is really good. So use copper. But just do high quality. So I push for just excessive high quality, and then I educate on what that looks like. And some of the bags that I see out there, they're selling. They knock off our bags. They're selling them for the price of my raw materials. I was like, wow.
How is that possible, right?
I know how it's possible. Actually, I did a video called "How to Knock Off a Bag," and I got an NPR interview on that. I've been so much coverage on that video. I teach people how to knock off my bag, and I'm talking to the knocker offers. So here's how to do it really cheap. Here's what we do. You don't need to do that. No, they won't even notice for a couple of years, and that sort of thing. So education and high excessive quality.
You mentioned the factory rather. You still operate that factory? Is that in Mexico still?
Yeah, we have a factory in Mexico. We have about 200 people there, and man, we have some great people. They just love leather. Their fathers did leather, and their fathers before them, and it's just, we have some really great people there.
And then that's something that you're, I would imagine, the quality assurance that you're down there probably every once so often checking on that, and that's something that, as you said, that you really want the brand to stand on is the quality of its goods. So that's probably a really important factor for you.
Well, part of it is that no one cares about your stuff as much as you do. so I was having other people make my stuff, but the quality just wasn't there, and they were the big one is substituting materials. They'll take your thread and substitute it with another thread, but charge you for the good thread, stuff like that. And and then you maintain these employees. We have a daycare there for the employees. We have an English school, the same place where I taught English in the past. Well, I called them up, said, "Hey, would you open up a school by my factory so our employees can send their kids there?" And so we fully fund that also, and and the employees love us, so they don't quit. We just have some really loyal, and the longer they're there, the better they get. The more mistakes they've made, and they don't make them anymore. So it's really a cool deal we got going.
Yeah, it is. And then just my final question, Dave, is where do you plan on taking Saddleback Leather going forward? What's next?
Well, if Saddleback grows, it grows, and we're doing our fair share to help that to happen. But we, if it stays where it is, I'm fine with that. What I really want is to grow that factory. I want to, because we're reaching people there, and we're really, really, really changing the lives of the people. And so, so we want to grow that factory, and we do work for other companies also. We make their things. Well, only high quality. We don't do medium crap stuff. We'll only high quality stuff. And so I want to grow that, and that's where our big emphasis is right now, is on that factory, to get it to the level where we can comfortably bring in and scale up with other high quality companies. There are a lot of them out there.
Yeah, that's an honorable goal, trying to, not concerned about personal, but trying to make the lives of your employees, especially those in maybe some areas that are a little underprivileged, improve their lives is sort of what you're angling towards.
Well, it's breaking the cycle of poverty. And so their dad was a windshield washer, and then so they're a windshield washer, and then they're a windshield washer, if they even know dad or mom, because of just struggles that they grew up with. Well, we're breaking that, and people get educated, and they stay together, and they it's just a neat deal.
So I want to first off thank Dave Munson of Saddleback Leather for joining me today and taking the time. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, but make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. So thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.